But there is more drama down in the pits as yet again Andy Rattell gets a bit of bad luck thrown into his weekend. This is genuinely not the time for this kind of problem to be happening.
You can see there the front row of Finn McLaughlin and Jules Courante. Again, two drivers, they've had a pretty interesting weekend, and I suspect this race is going to be an interesting one as well.
Finn McLaughlin has had a very strong weekend, fastest of all in qualifying, second overall in the points tally, so he has a great opportunity to book himself a place on the front row of the grid. But will he want to be there? Because he might actually favour being on the second row on the inside line. Could be interesting. Finn McLaughlin and Jules Courante from Malo Bollier and Eduardo Dominguez. Then Ethan Faramond and Khali Atkins from Mika Vos and Paul Chaus. Adrian Mostienis and Ili Goldstein from Andy Rattell and Eloy Gonzalez. Alessandro Tedesca and Arno Malizia from Henki Kauterman and Julian Carmen. Then Miguel Silva and Luca Griggs, Clement Outran and Hugo Brun, Peter Stiller and Jonah Klopp from Louis Speck and Adam Rahali, Louis Juin and Louis Johnston Cool. Kora Yoshida and Aaron Ferrazzano, Yuta Suzuki and Mark Lopiccolo, Hugo Trichard, Dan Bravo, Matthias van der Kerkhofer, Jean Lambert, Leo Weber and Matteo Giaccardi. But there is more drama down in the pits as yet again Andy Rattell gets a bit of bad luck thrown into his weekend. This is genuinely not the time for this kind of problem to be happening. Can they get him going? If they can't get him going on the formation lap, then he's going to have to start the race from the pits if they can get him started.
But time is very quickly running out as the grid is coming round. They will be forming very soon. He is working frantically on that car in the pit lane. We're back with it. Top goes on. Does it fire up? No, it doesn't. A shake of the hand, and Rattell is out of the superheat too.
You've got to be kidding.
He's still trying to get it going, but he's going to run out of time. The grid's going to be coming round anytime soon. He drives out the pit lane. He goes.
But they're going to line up for the start of the race now, look. So he's just gone out onto the circuit. Andy Rattell's race has just started, but he's going to be a good half a minute behind everybody else. Well, the race is going to get started without him if it goes around this time. Are we going to go round again?
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. No, it's a false start.
Yeah, it is a false start.
So Andy needs to absolutely pedal it. He needs to go flat on the throttle now to catch up to the rest of the field. Otherwise, he will score an absolute hammer blow of a result. 36 points to add to his tally is going to be no use at all. So Andy Rattell really has to fire it up. Look, they're doing their very best they can to slow this up as much as possible. I mean, this is partly Finn's strategy anyway.
Yes, yeah.
But this is really going to benefit Andy Rattell, who is only going to be about 3 corners behind them by the time they come through. What is Finn McLaughlin doing?
He's practically stationary there.
Now we go, green. And Finn McLaughlin gets started. Poor Jules Courante, he's not even on the grid, basically.
No, he got dropped way back there. But again, that's Finn's style. Slows him right down and then bolts out of the starting gate, really, and he goes through and he holds on to the lead. Who is that who's got into that one? Is that Malo Bollier there in second place? It is. So Bollier has got the prime opportunity here to go for the race lead.
Andy Rattell is at the back. He's managed to catch them up. So Finn McLaughlin definitely owes Andy Rattell a quick drink later.
Yeah, I think he does indeed. He'll be on his Christmas card list for sure, that's for sure.
Thanks, mate. That was very nice. So Andy Rattell cutting his way through the field now in the hope that he can get himself back into the top 6. He had winning speed earlier, don't forget. A couple of drivers going off the road. But Rattell, look, he's just carving his way through. He is charging through the pack like scissors through newspaper. Amazing to watch him go.
He had to be careful there as one of the carts was on the outside there, would have come back onto the circuit right in front of him, and that would have thrown a load of debris and dust in his face, so that's probably not appreciated, but he still manages to keep it going. He's climbed several positions now. He's scything through the field.
What a comeback from Andy Rattell, but Malo Bollier leads the race. Here's Jules Courante. He's going to make the bid on the inside of McLaughlin for second place. Great run from Courante. McLaughlin trying to keep it on the outside line, but he's in danger of losing out to Faramond and Vos and Khali Atkins. As down the order goes Finn McLaughlin, down to P6 now behind the Jamaican. As round the outside, he now tries to cut back in on the Croc promotion, and here comes Eddie Goldstein as McLaughlin gets onto the grass. Goldstein is now going to get up into P6, and last year's champion finally emerges at the front end of the field.
Yep, this is interesting stuff that we're seeing. Finn McLaughlin, though, has been absolutely bamboozled by the entire pack coming through, so he's going to have to regain control of that one and try and scythe his way back through as, again, look at Andy Rattell brilliant recovery.
Off goes Ferrazzano. Ferrazzano goes sweeping off the road there. So I'm afraid Aaron Ferrazzano going no further in that one. Oh, wait a minute. No, that was Louis Speck. Louis Speck falling off the road. So the TB driver from Germany has fallen to the back end of the field as a result of all of that. Rattell just carving them off one by one up the inside of Yuta Suzuki. Thank you very much. He gets past the Japanese driver and even manages to take Louis Juin along for the ride with him. Meanwhile, turn one and round the far side. That is a very difficult run from Arno Milizia. He runs deep and several drivers carve up the inside. He's just lost out to McLaughlin, to Counterman, to Tudiska and to RGMMC.
Belay still leading then from Caranta. Caranta checks over his shoulder. Big look over the shoulder. Can see Faramond there. Atkins still there in P4. Also, Goldstein. Fabulous start for Goldstein in this one. Really working well. Started this one in P10. Now running in P5. So half of the positions gained so far. Working well as we're on lap 2 of 13. This is a long race for the seniors. The longest race that they will be doing so far this weekend. And who's that off the track?
It looks like Carmen, I think, has gone off the road there with Jonah Klopp. So Carmen and Klopp have ended up dropping down the order, and that's really going to hamper them. But Andy Rattell picks up the pieces. That's 18th place now for Andy Rattell. From 36th, he's gone through half the field in 3 laps.
That's incredible. Yeah, just managed to get past Rahali there. Johnson's next as they go through. Back across the line they go. Atkins now up into P3 and is latched onto the back of Caranta. This is very interesting now. We were speaking to the crop promotion team the other night and they were saying everyone's done well, but they just need to push a little bit harder. And I think that pep talks work because down the inside there goes Atkins. He moves up into P2, checks over the shoulder, back with Rattell as he goes through. He's now managed to get past Logan Johnson there as well. So it's all starting to kick off all the way through this field.
Yeah, Caranta needs to get the win here because obviously with Eduardo Vila finishing second, he's down to 18 points. If Caranta comes through to pick up the win, then Caranta is going to be on 17 and he'll get on the front row of the starting grid. However, that might not necessarily be a bad thing for Caranta because he started this race on the even side of the grid rather than the odd side of the grid. And perhaps he doesn't want to be there for the final. So a fascinating dynamic here going on as the contenders continue, and a really exciting situation as the battles continue. But Bollier, 0.3 of a second ahead of Khali Atkins, who finds himself now in second place, the Jamaican. A brilliant run for him. And he's now right on the back of Bollier. This would be wonderful for Khali Atkins to come through and win his first superheat. Up on the inside, Khali Atkins for the crop promotion team hits the front. Very much following in the footsteps of the likes of Caden McQueen and Gabriel Stilp, who have been superstars for this team in the past. But now it looks to me as though Marlo Bollier's got back through and has taken Goldstein with him. And Carmen has picked up a penalty, a 5-second penalty with a warning flag. So Goldstein now finds himself in second ahead of Eloy Gonzalez. Atkins has tumbled all the way to P4.
Yeah, Carmen was well down in the order as well. He was in 24th. Now he's dropped well further down as well after that one.
There goes Rattell.
Yeah, Rattell down the inside. Well, where is he now? He's up into P14 now. That's Brun that's just in front of him, the 299 as they go through. So he's had a fantastic race so far.
He's only 4 seconds off the lead. That is astonishing. He was about half a minute behind them on the formation lap, and now he has managed to get within 4 seconds of the race lead. This is monstrous from Andy Rattell. And Goldstein's in the lead.
Yeah, last year's Senior X30 champion in the Iame EuroSeries leads this superheat going through. Not had the best of weekends so far at the start of this season, but it's all coming through now. Potentially could see him do well in the final. But now this is where you see drivers who have really put on the new tyres. Have people got fresher tyres in this one? This is where you see drivers really scythe through the field.
So this has been an amazing superheat so far. Goldstein coming up to the lead, Gonzalez coming up to second, Bollier having hit the front, Caranta nearly having hit the front, and the former leader of this race, who started in pole position. I'm trying to figure out where is our pole sitter now, because they've tumbled a long way down the field, haven't they? All the way down to 18th, Finn McLaughlin.
I hear an exhaust that has come off.
Yes, I can hear that as well. Oh, big off as well as they come through on the far side. So yes, somebody's going to have a mechanical problem of some kind. A technical flag is going to come out for one of the drivers out there, because that is an exhaust sounding very sick and unwell indeed. You can always tell because they are the loudest thing on track. Goldstein, Gonzalez, Atkins, Bollier, Faramond, Kauteran, Tudiska, Vos, Milizia, Utran and Mustienes, then Jules Caranta and Andy Rattell, 13th position, right behind Jules Caranta. He is charging through. Here he is in behind Jules Caranta, and the 268 He's going to have a bit of a mission now. It's a big launch from Rattell. He came from a million miles back.
I think he came from the French border there, didn't he?
Absolutely. He was so far behind Kart into the braking zone. Dived up the inside, made it happen. Beautifully done. Flying through turn one. This is Malizia. Now trying to shake off Clement Outram. So Outram trying to get his move on the inside, but look at this for the lead. And that looks to me like we've got one of the drivers right down at the back of the field having the exhaust issue. I think that could be around the Griggs, Giacardi, Cartman, Weber sort of line of things. And it does look to me as though the race director has picked up on it. So I think that's going to be notified very shortly indeed. But Goldstein now in front of Atkins, who has got past Gonzalez. Now Marlo Bollier having a look for third position. Here comes Bollier, former race leader. He gets back into third position. So now all three of the men in the top three positions have led this race for at least a few meters at the very least.
That exhaust, I believe it's Luca Griggs with the exhaust, the 208 as the mechanical flag goes out. I've got to say, though, it sounds fantastic.
It sounds amazing, but unfortunately, it's not going to go any further. Oh, he's backed off.
Yeah.
He's backed out. I think he realised exactly what the issue is, and he's pulled it off. Or either that or it's another of the drivers. No, it is another driver. It's Miguel Silva who's pulled off. So Miguel Silva is out of this race now. There he is. And Luca Griggs has actually come into the pits, so he's figured it out. He knows it's him. So he's pulled off. So Griggs is not going around any further. He comes into pit lane. So, yeah, problems there, I'm afraid, for Luca Griggs as they check his exhaust. But I've got a feeling that Bravo was so close to him, he maybe thought that was his exhaust in problems. And maybe Miguel Silva thought the same. And Aaron Ferrazzano, as you mentioned, has indeed picked up a penalty and the 5-second warning. So, big problems there. But Tedesca riding behind Calterin. Calterin and Tedesca are going to make their bid on Bollier. They both try the move. Calterin makes it. Tedesca does not. So Alessandro Tedesca has to hold back. Gonzalez is in the mix there as well. Bollier takes back fourth position. So he's not, sorry, takes back third, I should say. So he's not going to get his opportunity. Then behind Calterin and Tedesca, you've got Gonzalez, Outram, Malizia, Voss, and in the top 10, it's Andy Rattell.
Can't believe it. Can't believe it.
That's an amazing comeback.
How has he come through so quickly as well? He's right behind, I say he's right behind Voss. He's now in front of Voss as they go through turn 8, and that's another position gained. He's up into P9 now, top 10 after not even thinking he was going to start the race. Still kicking off though further up the field as again, he's just sitting there, Tedesca trying to get past Calterin nearing the end of the race though, but man of the match here. Andy Rattell has got a lot of real estate to close up to get past Malaysia here. And now it's starting to kick off. Bollier now has been kicked out of the train and he is falling down the order.
Gone right down to the back of the train as well. He's gone all the way down, so he's down to 7th place. And up the inside, that looked like Gonzalez. Off on the round goes Tedesca. So Bollier's going to pick that one up. Behind them is Arno Malizia, and Andy Rattell is in 9th position behind them, trying to pick up some more places. If these four don't calm down, Rattell might end up on the podium of this race.
Could you imagine that?
And could you imagine him getting to 3rd? Diving up the inside then, Gonzalez trying to shake off Bollier and Calterin. But Clement Outram having worked his way up into 5th position now, so Outram is trying to keep it nice and tidy. Goldstein is not pushing harder than he has to in front of Atkins and Calterin. So they are all together. Eloy Gonzalez in 4th position. There is Andy Rattell all the way up to 9th position from the back of the field, from having a difficulty even getting the kart started. He is now in P9. I wish we'd had an onboard with him, because that video would have absolutely gone viral. On the inside goes Clement Outram. He takes on Eloy Gonzalez to get through into 4th position. Up through turn 2, up through 3, Goldstein, Atkins and Calterin.
I really didn't expect to see Goldstein up at the front of this one. I mean, Goldstein has been, champion last year, so we know incredibly quick driver, but this weekend has just not been his day or the weekend at all. So the fact that Goldstein is now at the front, meaning that everything seems to be sorted out with that kart, and now it's running well, potentially could see something good for the final later on.
Well, Goldstein is one of those drivers that has an absolute aversion to Friday fortune. He's one of those drivers, if Friday goes wrong, the whole weekend goes up in smoke. He reminds me actually a lot of the Grand Prix driver Carlos Reutemann. Everything, when it goes perfectly, he's unbeatable. But if there's even something slightly wrong, the whole weekend goes up in smoke. Whoa, Andy Rattell hopping over the curb in his bid to try and get past Eloy Gonzalez. He desperately tried to make a gap open up. It didn't happen. So Gonzalez holds the place as we go into the last lap. And Goldstein is definitely in A1 Reutemann mode now. He's absolutely loving it out front.
Yeah, you saw the head bob there, just think of pushing that car on as much as he possibly could. Cleared now by half a second from Khali Atkins, who's still there in P2, and he's comfortable as well, because another half a second down the road is Kalterin, who is under pressure though from Utron, who is trying to find a way through. Malaysia's just gone up into P5 under the expense of Belay, so Belay down into P6 now, as there's Rattell. Rattell there, he's got Louis Johnson-Cool just behind. Looking to the outside here of Gonzalez, forcing him defensive. Going to try to get the switch back here. No, he tries to go the long way round. Not able to get it done. He might have to settle for a P9 here, but settle, I think he'll be appreciative of. P9 after starting right at the back.
What a job from Andy Rattell. Certainly outshines everybody in front of him, but it's nice to see Ellie Goldstein in his new berth at TB Kart finally take a victory this weekend. And in the Super Heat 2, nonetheless, the champion is back at the front, and Ellie Goldstein finally has something positive to take out of this opening weekend at Zuera. That will improve his starting position no end, but can he do something special with that in the final? We now know he can win this weekend. But as we get to the final, can he win again?
Senior X30 so far has been brilliant. They have been giving us some fantastic races all the way throughout. Rattell, it says on the timing that he only gained 3 places, but that was from his original starting spot before he had the mechanical issues. He actually gained nearly every single grid. He had Louis Johnson-Cool behind, who gained 17 places, finishing in P9 from Elo Gonzalez, rounding out the top 10 from Mika Voss, Andrea Martinez, Yuta Suzuki rounds out the top 13, 16 places gained, so a fantastic drive for the Japanese driver. Ethan Faramond and Aaron Faranzino round out the top 15, 13 positions gained from Jules Courant, who unfortunately, midway through that race, despite starting on the front row, dropped back to P16. Finn McLaughlin as well, another driver who started on the front row. It didn't work out for both of the drivers. He also dropped down to P17 from Mark LaPiccolo, rounding out the top 18, 12 positions gained from Eduardo Dominguez, rounding out the top 19. Hugo Byrne didn't gain or lose any places. He rounded out the top 20 from Yuna Lup.